Today, we're learning how to improve your decision-making skills. Because when you don't make decisions, you are wasting time. So check out the video today and stop wasting time. You know how sometimes you're moving through life and it's really tough to make decisions? Well, don't worry, we're gonna talk about what it takes to be able to get your mind in order and also so you can get moving forward. Because every second and every day that goes by that you're not making a decision, you are spinning your wheels and it's costing you time and money, right? And it's also driving you crazy. So let's talk about what it takes to be able to make this work for you. Well, one of the first steps you wanna do is you wanna start thinking about what you don't want to have happen. What is it that you don't want to have happen? Because usually what we do in our mind is we think about what we want and what we don't want, and we keep going back and forth in this ping pong experience. And that's what stops us from actually making a decision, is because these random thoughts keep popping up about what you want and what you don't want. So to really get going on this, make a list of all the different thoughts and ideas of the things you don't want to have happen. Now, it really means make a list, not just in your head, not just thinking about it, but get on your phone or get on a pad of paper and make a real live list. As I mentor and I'm helping other people get moving forward in their life and they don't make a list, guaranteed it just stays in a big mess on the inside of their head. And that's not what you want, right? It's burning out time. So you get a pad of paper so you can work it out in front of you on that pad of paper. But really only focus on what it is that you don't want and just clear out all of those thoughts so they don't keep messing around with the ideas of what it takes to move forward. Okay, the second one is, what are your concerns and worries? I know it sounds like, well, Kirk, I just wrote those down with the things that I don't want. No, concerns and worries are a completely different thing. See, there are results that we don't want, but then we also have concerns and worries about what's going to happen if we do make a decision. You know, you've thought those thoughts where, well, if I do decide to do this, well, what's so-and-so going to think? And then what will happen tomorrow? And what will this be like next week? And so your mind plays out scenarios. And in those scenarios, there's some obstacles, there's some challenges, there's concerns, there's worries. So now your second and third list is, what are your concerns? What are the worries? What are all the terrible things you think are going to have happen if you make a decision? Because your mind is naturally evaluating all of this type of thought process, and you may not even be conscious of it. So this is why we work it out on paper. So number one, you're writing down what are the things you don't want, and then now your concerns and worries. And you may want to do this list on paper and give yourself a day or two to come back to the list to write down what else comes to you. Sometimes when we make a list and we think we got it all, sometimes we just clear off that top surface. You know what I'm talking about? Just that top surface. And then other things float to the surface. And then you clear those ideas off too, so you can get your mind to being clear. Because it's really tough to make a decision when you got concerns, worries, and a whole bunch of things you don't want to have happen, all plugging up your brain. That just doesn't work. And it's one of the reasons why you're feeling like you're stuck. Next, okay, education matters, because if we don't really raise our education about where it is we want to go, what happens is we're trying to move forward in life with the current education we have right now. And that can be a little spooky. So what you're looking for is, what is it that you don't know? What is it that you don't know enough about? And if you were to ponder on that and start thinking, what is it that I need to understand so that I can move forward? You might start to find here that there are different topics or different people you might need to meet with so that you can raise your education. Because if you think you can move forward on the same level of education you currently have, that is going to paralyze your thinking process. Because how can you come up with better and stronger and clearer thoughts on old thinking? That's not going to happen. So that would be your next step, is to go, okay, what is it I don't know? What is it that I need to figure out? Who is it that I need to talk to, or what kind of person I need to talk to? So you can find out what you need to learn, because education is a big motivator, and lack of education is a great stopper. So find what it is that you need to learn about to be able to move you forward. Okay, the next part of who. You know, I'm looking out the window here, and there's all these houses, and there's some buildings way over there. There's a whole bunch of people in the world. Lots of people who can help move you forward, help you walk yourself through the different steps and ideas that you could figure out about how to make this decision. There are a lot of people in the world. And if you're trying to make your decision by yourself, that could be one of the big problems too, is that you're just relying on your ideas. I think it'd be smart for you to meet somebody new. Or maybe you got a friend you can reach out to. But you know how friends are though? They can be kind of crazy and they give you a bunch of weird ideas, right? So maybe ask your friend who they know. But I have found in my life, if I can talk to somebody and talk out what it is that I'm sorting through in my head, that I'm trying to make a decision on, if I can talk to people, it actually helps me get more clear. So who is it that you could call today? Who is it that you could reach out to? Because if you're stuck in your own thinking, sometimes having that conversation with another person opens up the conversation, and then that opens up the mind. Okay, the next part is, what if you could not fail? Like there was nothing ever gonna go wrong. Like there's no way your ideas would fail. What would that idea be? Sometimes we have great ideas, and they're really, really good ideas, but the concerns, the worries, the lack of education get in there and kind of tear those ideas apart. But really, what is your idea? What are those steps that you did think about, but then it spooked you? And see, because you got spooked or concerned or worried, sometimes great ideas get buried with a whole bunch of concern, worry, and lack of education sitting on top of it. And those great ideas are deep down inside of you. But what are those crazy, wild ideas that you've had? Now, don't be shy or hide those ideas. Be sure to list those somewhere. You know, put that on your paper. Here's my big, crazy ideas. I have found in my life, when I have a big, crazy idea, I get all excited. You know, I'm all ready to just take action on it. But then here comes the concerns. Here's the concerns, pushes down the good idea. Then here comes the worries. And then here comes the ideas of all the things I don't know. And then my big idea is way down here. Well, if you could go back and revisit your crazy idea and bring that back to the surface, I think it's the right idea. I think it's the idea you go with. Don't lose those ideas. Don't let those evaporate and just completely fall apart and, you know, disassemble themselves because of concern and worry. Believe me, over the years, when it comes to making decisions, I'm just like you. I've struggled with it. I've wrestled with it, but I've also been able to make decisions and get better at it. And this is what I've been doing to get better at it. So if you're wondering like, well, what is that crazy idea? And what if it could not fail? What would you do next? What is that big, crazy next step? And now that you've written out your concerns and your worries and already thought about the education you can get and who else you can talk to, those big ideas need to come back to the surface, because many times my big ideas is what helps me take those huge step forward. It just helps me take that big step forward so I'm not just taking these little tiny steps. I believe you're the kind of person who gets inspired. And I believe you're the kind of person who really can be a great problem solver. But you're just like me and you're like other people where it gets covered up and pushed down over time because of what's listed here between number 1 through 4. So let those big ideas come up. And if you could not fail, what would you do next? That would be a great idea to take next. Now here at 3 Key Elements, what we want to do is we want to support you in your forward movement in what it is you're doing in your life. And so check us out and check out all the other videos we have here on this YouTube channel and subscribe, because we're here to help you make great choices and to help you accomplish your goals and ideas and not let those things get pushed to the side. Subscribe here to this channel so you don't miss any more of our training videos that we have coming out to you. And also check out our website, because we're here because your life matters.